difficult. So you can start on the mat, actually. So we'll have you seated. And I'm just going to turn the camera a bit. Okay. So you can sit down on your mat. Straight. Back ideally also straight. And then start off. And if that's really difficult for you without any support, you can lean against the wall. And then point and flex your toes alternating. So right foot in, left foot out, in, right foot, left foot, right, left, right, left. Good, so just keep going. We'll do 10 more total. 2 and 1. Okay, and then bend your knees lightly, which also takes some of the strain off your upper body. And from here, put your heels together and just turn your toes out and bring them back in, up and out and up and out and up. So if the whole leg rotates, that's okay. Keep the heels together. Really pull your toes up towards you. And try and bring the legs out to the side and closer towards you. Good. And then stay in that outward position. And then from here, point one leg and bring it back in. And then point the other one and bring it back in. So if you're doing this, you might feel that when you're pointing the foot, you feel this all the way up the shin. So this is part of your shin, the anterior, so the forward-facing part. Not the shin, the calf muscle. So the calf muscle is two parts, this part, and then the back. So toes are turned out, point right foot, point the left foot, point the right foot, point the left foot. Keep going, and we're doing 10 with each foot. Today we're really working on the difference between a flexed foot and a pointed foot. Support yourself behind you if you need to. And then pull both feet in at the same time. Lift your heels off the ground, so you're resting on your calf. And then point and lower the ankle, the heel onto the mat. So lift up and then lower down and point. 15 of those. Lift up, lower down and point. Put things. Often what happens is people tell me, oh, I get a lot of cramps in my toes. I get a lot of cramps in my feet. Some of this is really difficult for me to access. It hurts. So especially in that area of your body, what helps if you're a busy person and it's go, 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 maybe you live in a hot climate, you want to add some magnesium and potassium to your diet. And in some extreme cases, people also need to add more salt to their diet. I'm just going to do 3 more here. 2 and 1. Okay. And salt has a really bad reputation in our society, but athletes take it. And I think, especially if you're a mom and your first priority is always your family, sometimes you do operate like an athlete. And so it's not a bad idea to look into maybe needing a little bit more salt, because when you don't get enough of it, it basically blocks the communication between your muscles and your nerves. So the salt actually acts as a connector. And I've seen some pretty remarkable results for people who just added a little bit more salt, not all the time, but occasionally, in relieving some of the cramping, migraines, and just a general feeling of fatigue, sometimes also restless leg syndrome. So there are good brands out there like salt tabs. And the only thing to look out for is when you take more salt, you have to drink more water. So yeah. Okay, so we're going to come into this reverse straddle. So you have your right leg, then keep this angle a little smaller so there's no pressure on the knee, and same in the back. So if you don't feel like you can open up here, then you just keep that a little smaller. And now we're going to focus on that front foot again. So here, you're going to turn your leg out, up, flex, and point. Flex, turn out, flex, and point. Bring the leg in, turn out, point, in, turn out, point, in, turn out, point. 15 times. Scared. They're like, no, my whole life people have told me sodium is bad for me, salt is bad for me. But it means that we've reduced salt in our diet to a point where it's actually an essential part of the body's functioning. So if you got, there's salt tabs that you can chew. And one of those, so I will take one of those maybe once a week if I'm really active. And then that day I make sure I drink an extra 2 tall glasses of water. Okay, so left foot is going to flex, turn out, flex, and point. Flex, turn out, flex, and point. I realize you can't see that well. Okay, flex, turn out, flex, point, in, out. That might seem a little boring, but you literally walk on clouds afterwards if you do it right. And I feel like when our feet are happy, and the lower leg is happy and we walk better, you know, it can actually help with a lot of things, also upwards of the hips. 3 more, 2, and 1. Okay, and then we're coming on to all fours. So on all fours, we're going to involve the toes. So you're going to stay on the left knee, lift your right knee, and then you're going to really push into the heel and then push into the top of your foot. Push into the heel, push into the top of your foot. And this is also a slight core and arm exercise. 15 of those. Okay, and then switch sides. So the right knee stays on the mat and that foot can be relaxed. And then the left leg, left knee is off the mat. You're really pressing into your toes by pushing the heel back and then pushing into the top of your foot, alternating 15 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. So the other thing to remember is a happy big toe influences how we move. So when your big toe is really rigid and you can't roll off that furthest part out, it means that you run differently. So you basically, every time you hit your big toe, it jams and all that force travels up. So again, because releasing your big toes is not very sexy, but doing that every so often, you can even just bend the big toe up and then curl it under. And that will take the strain off the top of your foot and then the back of your lower leg. Okay, to come back onto all fours, And now place your left shin over your right calf. And then sit back. And if you're like me, you'll go ow and come out of it and sit back. We're massaging the calf. 7, 8. Stay in that spot that feels really tender. So sometimes you have to move the shin up again. 4 more. And then after the last one, come back down and just rest here. And really get into that sore spot. No equipment needed, no foam roller. It's just your shin. Okay, and then the other side. So you're lifting your right shin and placing that really bony part onto the really meaty part of your left calf. Going in, out, and out, and in, and out. 3, 4. Don't shy away from that spot. 5, 10 more times. 6, 7, 8. And then after 5, just sit back and stay there for a bit more. Massage that area. Okay. And then press into downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, if you can't straighten the knees, that's okay. And just as they say at the beginning of each class, pedal your feet out. Down, 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 down. Really active. Some of you might be more flexible than me, so your heel is down. But this is less about your hamstring length than really working that lower leg. So we're going to do 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step your right foot forward. And then just play with that back leg. So your heel is up. So you're pushing, now you're pushing your knee forward a bit more. And then pushing back into the calf a bit more. So you're basically going from a 90-degree angle in the front leg into an overextension of the back foot. So you're going from your big toe into your Achilles. And I'm going to hobble forward so you lose me at the front. So big toe, Achilles, big toe, Achilles, 15 times. Lift up high. And that's your natural movement when you walk and when you run. And when that's inhibited, we develop all sorts of pain. I'll do 3 more. Okay, and then we'll switch legs. Step your right foot back. Quick push back, pedaling out, left foot forward. Same thing with the right foot. So you're pushing into your big toe, up, 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 back down. Big toe, back down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, last 5. Good, and then step your left foot back, downward facing dog. And then step your right foot forward one more time. This time we're going to come up. We're coming up into a lunge. Back heel is still off the ground. And you're going to lift and lower. And lift and lower. Heel is nice and high off the ground. Five more. Okay, and then the back heel comes down. So now you're in a setup like you would be for a warrior two. And so right away, just enjoy some of that length in the back leg. And then we're going to straighten the front leg. So you're actually involving that foot too. And then coming down lower. Straighten the front leg, come down lower. Straighten and come down. Your back foot is at a 45-degree angle and it doesn't move. The heel is down. We're strengthening the area around the ankle. Okay, and then stay in warrior two for a moment. And then bring the back heel up. Frame your front foot. Step your right foot back. Enjoy the back stretch in downward facing dog. And then step your left foot forward. And then come up. We're going to stay here. Arms are going to frame your ears. You're coming down, pressure on the big toe. Up, more pressure on the Achilles and the lower leg. Down and up. Down and up. Okay, and then we're turning the back heel down. And you're coming into a warrior two. When people talk about lower leg strengthening and then lower leg release, I see a lot of steps involved. And if you've ever done that, you know that you end up with an insanely sore calf. And I don't think that really benefits people in the long run because releasing that calf is very difficult. So this is a gentler way to increase mobility, add movement, without ending up with a calf that is just on fire. Unless you want a really, really big sculpted calf. So here, we're going to straighten the front knee, bending the front knee. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. That back leg stays in the same position. Gluing your heel down. Don't let that come off the ground. Five more. Four. Stay on a 45-degree angle. Okay. You're going to turn your left foot in. Turn your right foot to parallel. And we're just going to distinguish the differences in a wide-legged forward fold. So most of the time when I tell people to come into a really wide stance, they have one foot that wants to turn out. There's nothing wrong with that, but most of the time you can neither strengthen or lengthen when the foot is like that. It's a relaxed position, it feels good, but what we're trying to do is really now stretch out this whole area. So the first thing you want to do is check your feet whether they're parallel, and then come down, hands on your back if you need to. Find the length in the hamstring now, and then feel that traveling down through the calves into your foot. And even if you're really flexible, if you pay attention to really pushing the hips and the outer thighs out to the side, this becomes an active stretch. So there's traction between the muscles in your leg and the release in your foot. So when you're coming down, it's not just a plopping down, okay, I'll let my body do whatever it wants, but it's boom, active legs, and then you'll feel some force in the feet really grounding down. And you hear that in yoga a lot. Not collapsing into a pose. So hands on your back, or if you can reach, hands on the ground. Active outer thighs, so you're pushing them out towards the side. And now you're going to turn your right foot in as far as it can go. And bring both hands over to that foot. And I would be very surprised if you didn't feel a stretch coming from the top of your foot through your ankle, all the way up through the front, the anterior calf muscle. Stay there, don't try to avoid it. Really push through the heel into the floor. Forget about the other leg for a moment. And then bend the knee and extend the knee 3 times. And then stay there and rotate even further towards that leg. Okay, and then give that foot some release. Okay, feet back to parallel, hands down on the ground or on your back. Turn your leg of your foot through the ankle into the... And then see if you can rotate just a little more. Bend that knee, extend that knee. The bending creates some sort of relief. Extend and bend, extend, and one more. Extend and twist a little deeper. Okay, and then let that leg come out to the side. And now I'll let you do what you wanted to do throughout, which is turn your toes out. Turn your toes out. Hopefully you'll feel that your feet are a little tingly, feeling good. And now we're going to come down into a goddess squat. And the idea here is that most people can access this as long as they put their feet wide enough. Your stance is too narrow. Place your feet out to the side. Come down low. Find that position where you can then relax, so to speak. So you're coming down, you're opening up the inner thighs, but what you're mostly opening up is your lower back, and then you're gently strengthening the feet. And we won't stay here long, just a few seconds. And then with some support of your hands, come to sit. Extend your right leg out. Cross the whole left leg right by the knee. And then lift your right arm, reach across, twist. And then fan this left knee out, but cross the leg even deeper. So now both knees are resting on top of one another. And then reach for your foot. And I can't, so I'm going to reach for my shin. If you flex the foot up, you'll feel a stretch in the calf. Just a few seconds. And then you're going to switch. Left leg comes out to the front. Right foot steps across for a full body twist. And then you're going to let the knee fall out to the side, but you're crossing the knee all the way. So the two knees are resting on top of one another. And on this side, I'm a bit more flexible. You reach for the shin or you reach for the foot. Pull your toes up and you'll feel a stretch in the calf muscle. And then slowly come out of this one. I just want to, some of the gunk in your feet get transported out. So today we're just going to let you either just have your feet up here. You can do that. That's like minimally supported. If you're feeling better, you could come up into more of an inversion. Or the easiest thing would be to just place your legs against the wall. You can do that while you take a phone call. Or you can do that at the end of the day. And about 10 minutes in is often when the whole leg starts feeling like a warm rush, like a tingly feeling. And when you come out of it, it feels so nice. So we're not going to hang out too long. You can soften episode. It's a bit of a crazy professor meets crazy runner lower leg release. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you for one more workout tomorrow, which is going to be cardio, because now our legs are all nicely stretched, so you'll feel good for tomorrow. We'll jump around and yeah, end the week with a bang. And can't believe it, but I think by the end of next week I will have recorded 50 of these videos. So thank you for doing them with me, and I'll see you tomorrow.